Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by award-winning director Brian Redondo and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vani. This is episode 216, and we react to the start of season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Incredible!
Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back. It's Confidently Wrong. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Wesley.
Good morning, Savon.
Hey, yo, what's up?
We got NBA playoffs starting today. I'm very excited. The best time of the year.
It is.
The basketball totally changes. The rotations change, and everything just becomes a super slugfest and a chess match, and I'm here for it. This is what we play the whole season for, just to watch these teams play at their elite level. I know that the Lakers are not going to go far, so I'm a little bit sad about that. We probably won't even
wear that jersey, Wes.
Yeah, I'm going to wear the Lakers jersey because this is probably the last time I can wear it, in season for a few months on the pod. RIP to Luka Doncic's hamstring and Austin Reeves' oblique muscle. But yeah, I still like watching playoff basketball. It's such high leverage, like high thinking basketball. It's high intensity. Love this time of year. Your two teams are in it with a shot. Obviously, the Pistons and the Knicks are looking okay. They're at the top half of their conference, so we'll see what they do.
I'm very
Brian,
nervous.
Yeah, you're nervous.
So many
Even
knots in
first
my
round?
stomach. I have nautical handbook of knots all up in my stomach.
Y'all should be able to beat
That's
the
what's going
Atlanta
on here.
Hawks.
I'm scared. I'm very scared. It's been an up and down season. Who knows what could happen?
The ghost of Trey is just going to haunt Madison Square Garden.
Zoran Mondani actually called out Trae Young in a recent video about why playoff tickets were so expensive. He's like, blame Trae Young. And I was like, no, that's bad juju.
Yeah, don't invoke
Don't
his
utter
name.
his name.
Don't evoke his name. He's been banished to Washington, and now y'all got his spirit just getting powered up off of ATL Voodoo Strip Club curse. And now
The weather has suddenly gotten cold.
I sent this to you guys in the text, but shout out to Mamdani for doing a John Wilson episode basically about the scaffolding in New York and using it to make a point about how he's gonna make scaffolding better for New Yorkers. Funny thing to take on, but he's doing some cool
It's
things.
a real
on social
problem.
media.
It's a real problem.
I mean, I was in
But
New
he's
York
doing cool
recently.
things.
Is it because of all the scaffolders be blocking all the streets?
Yeah, the
Yes.
sidewalks.
Okay, I
Yeah.
peeped that too. I was in there
Just
once a few
quality,
years ago, and
right?
I was like, dang, they always working on something here.
Yeah, not really. They just
Yeah,
don't take
but
them down.
not really. Yeah.
No, there's always there's always a lot of unfinished projects here. I'm like, oh, they were working on something here.
There's a high school near me, a very famous high school. It's like a magnet school, right? They are
Is
notoriously
it the one that Miles
had-
Morales goes to?
Yeah. Kind of like modeled after that a little bit, right? They had notoriously had scaffolding through like multiple generations of students where like these students who have long since graduated had never seen the exterior of their own high school.
Yeah, who needs to see the building itself?
That's a damn shame.
The scaffolding.
That's
is fine.
pretty bad.
Yeah, that's one of those like, oh, this is so bad that people have just gotten used to it. And it's like you take a step back and you're like, y'all, this is absurd. Speaking
All right,
of
well, that was the
absurdities in New
culture-
York,
That was the New York culture beat of the pod. So
We
let's
need
keep going.
safer streets.
speaking
We're
of safer
gonna
streets
talk
in New
about
York,
season 2 of Daredevil. It kicked off a couple of weeks ago, and we're excited to watch the return of Matt Murdock and the fallout from Foggy's death in
spoilers.
the very beginning of season 1. And obviously, the juxtaposition between Kingpin's rise to power and Matt Murdock's and Daredevil's fall from grace. So that's kind of what this season is a little bit about. Savon, can you remind us kind of what happened at the end of season 1, and then we can get into some spoilers for season 2, but just to let the people know what they should expect.
Yeah,
If they haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, so the big stuff that happened in season 1 was that Daredevil's been in retirement. He's coming out of retirement now. The gang of Foggy and Karen get back together, and it results in Foggy's death. And the main storyline of season 1 is really Fisk deciding that he wants to run for mayor. And at this point, he's made a recovery from the previous show. He got shot in the face and bounced back. Dang, I wish he would have died. But alas, Kingpin's back. He's in the city. He's running for mayor. And his storyline is revolving around fighting back against vigilantes, but from a position of power. And so most of the show involves him expanding his powers as mayor, taking advantage of like his resources and his criminal links to battle vigilantes and those who operate outside the law, including Daredevil, but also with a much other bigger, colorful cast of characters. Some we met last season in brief moments, like the late White Tiger, and others who we'll see later in this current season. But the season mostly ended with Fisk like consolidating his power, passing an anti-vigilantism act that basically put the city under martial law and under his control, and all his enemies, aka a lot of the main characters we know, have effectively been on the run from a corrupted police force and really, really corrupt judicial system. So season one ends with all of our main characters basically on the run up against Fisk, and that kind of opens up where we are in season 2.
Yeah, we've talked about, we were talking right before we started recording the pod about how real life sort of is just actually a much worse version of like the reality that these characters are living in New York. So if you imagine, Trump and ICE, a la a couple months ago, that's kind of what's happening here. He's just got his own personal task force that just runs around doing whatever he wants them to do and basically doing it carte blanche. No responsibility or accountability for anything that they do that is against the law. Any murders they commit are just, wiped away. So it's been a tough watch this show, just try and highlight the corruption and greed and violence that this can breed, and you're just like, this is just what happened already. We've seen this.
And then the icing on the cake,
even as bad,
right?
Yeah.
And then the icing on the cake, the CIA is involved too. You just need another villain. You need another villain that's just like well, who are they? I'm like, what do you mean, who are they? The CIA. They're a bad guy. Like, what do they want? The CIA. They probably have the least. They're probably one of the easier villains in the show to understand. Like, they just in it for the love of the game. Like, oh, we running guns, moving dope, destroying people in our community. Oh, that's just CIA. That's just how we get down. We do. That's a Sunday.
That's a Sunday.
And I love how the CIA guy like taunts Kingpin, and he's like, what you're doing here in New York is kind of small potatoes. It's just like a sliver of what's going on, what we're doing in the rest of the world. And it's like, yeah, that's true. That's true. Because our version of Kingpin in this world is actually like taking care of the rest of the world right now. So, kind of weird that Daredevil is a few steps behind what we're living through.
Catch up.
So, So season 2 kind of starts off with Daredevil on the run. He's had to go into hiding because there's kind of a manhunt for him. And then Bullseye, who is played by what's his name?
Poindexter.
Yeah, I know the character's name. I don't know the
character's
actor's
name is Poindexter. God, I forgot his name. Anyways,
Wilson
he's from Heart of
Bethel.
Dixie. Yeah, so he tried to kill Fisk last season at the very end. Murdoch takes a bullet for him. Very very slow mo. 90s no jumps in front of the bullet and takes one in the shoulder for him, and we can see that his psychoses, his like whatever, his mental illness kind of takes over him sometimes, and so we're kind of getting to see how does Bullseye sort of come together after this. I don't know, it's weird, right? Like Bullseye is sort of having a redemption arc but also not at the same time. I don't think there's any redeeming him, even though we understand that he went through quite a bit of trauma as a kid. So what are we thinking so far? What were you hopeful for this show? Were you like excited? Sav, what was your thought process going in?
Yeah, so we talked about this with season 1 of Daredevil, where I kind of graded the show on like not a scale, but I just recognized I gave them grace for a lot of stuff because I just read about how they had to scrap half the show, rewrite half of it because they realized it wasn't what was popping, and then they just write, hey, let's go back to the drawing board. We'll keep these things right. And we talked in the last show about how I think we all enjoyed Daredevil Born Again season 1, but we recognize that there's definitely a lack of polish, not because of lack of care, but because they had to scrap the show and try to rewrite everything. And like,
It wasn't super cohesive.
Yeah,
and
but we recognize that
it took away from the show. I mean, I enjoyed it less because of those issues.
Yeah, but I think we recognize that this was like an extenuating circumstances rather than just, the people behind the show don't know what the hell they're doing. You know, there's a difference between y'all kind of suck at what you're doing versus actually y'all course corrected really well, and that's a good sign of things to come. So I was going in through that lens. And so going into season 2, immediately it's very clear that the quality of what made season 1 good is still there, but now they've gotten to just fully commit and recognize, this is what works. This is what worked in season 1, and now we can go all in on it rather than the stuff from at first that was like, this is the leftover things that they had to keep. And it shows. The story, I'm enjoying the story a lot more. It feels a little bit less piecemeal together. I'm liking the pacing more. They feel like they're really, really set on the tone, and it works in terms of just the violence, the F-bombs, all of that. Not to say that the other show didn't have it, but that was something that worked, that they're keeping on moving. I don't know. I'm just really enjoying it. Actually, I'll point this out now. I'll just say this part early. What I'm enjoying most about this Daredevil season compared to the previous one and the old show is that they're doing a very good job of adapting Matt Murdock's power set and what he does in the comics to be grounded, because it's not so over the top that it's like, it's fantastical, but he's still doing shit. And a lot of the characters are doing stuff that you could never do in real life. Like Daredevil's just the level of skill fighting. Even we talked about his batons and the logistics behind the batons. It's one of those, they're cool, they make sense. Don't overthink it. If the show got too caught up in making everything hyper grounded, I think they would have moved away from that, which is something I think the original series didn't do. The original series definitely didn't want to do as much as the Billy Club swinging around on shit part. This newer one, they clearly they said, we don't know how to make this quite look good the way we'd want it to look. And they said, you know what, we're just going to take a step, we're just going to be safe, which is fine. This show is a way more bold about embracing kind of the more campy, over-the-top elements of what the characters do, but without sacrificing the tone and serious nature of it either, which I think can be very hard to do. It is hard as hell to have a character at a diner whistling Winn-Dixie, throwing scissors and forks at people and murdering them brutally.
And lobsters.
Yeah, and lobsters and shit. But you're sitting there, and I don't know about y'all, but I'm sitting there like, is it ridiculous that he's throwing all this? Like, kinda. But also,
what diner has lobster?
I mean, I'm not
fresh lobster too.
Wes?
They have a lobster tank.
You know what? That was not even remotely what I was talking about.
Is it a Chinese restaurant diner?
I was not talking about the lobster. I was talking about just the plausibility of someone just murdering folks with these household objects,
bouncing it off the ground.
But the show also, they don't try to be ashamed of that.
Yeah.
And so they do it in a way that just to me just sells me on it. So is it ridiculous this man threw a knife across the room and killed some officer hitting him with it? Yeah, but the direction and the filming and how they build up the characters makes you feel the stakes, and it doesn't feel as ridiculous as you would think it would be from the outside looking in. Because I'm 100%. Sitting there even when he's at the diner looking around, I'm getting anxious because I'm like, I know when he start looking at random little household objects, it's about to get busy. But I think, but all I have to say, the show's done a good job of building up these characters so that even if they do things that otherwise might feel a little cheesy or hard to ground yourself in my opinion, they've built the characters up enough to where it feels very real and grounded, and you still respect, they're getting busy. So even though Matt's doing some low-level Spider-Man shit, Daredevil's bouncing shit off the walls, hitting people in the eye, Kingpin has low-level superhuman strength for a 60-year-old man, it works for the show because they don't try to over-explain it and they just let it work. And it's one of those, they're not ashamed of it being a comic, but in a way that works for something that's actually really gritty, which normally you think is for something that's a lot more silly, like a James Gunn Superman movie. But I think that's a really hard balance to strike, and I appreciated that.
I think we can get into some spoilers at this point, some light spoilers, let's say, before we go really into the plot mechanics. But I think in general, I would say I've been much more impressed with the kind of cohesiveness of the story and the action kind of propelling to the next thing and really feeling like the story is moving. I felt like in season 1, if I recall correctly, that it sometimes felt like, well, why are we off on the side tangent? Because because of the story issues you talked about and the shooting issues they had the first time around, it ended up sort of feeling like, this just, why did we go on this thing? Like, what did it actually do for us? And I have not felt that way at all for this season. You know, like, we've had some moments for characters to shine who actually haven't come back in a couple of episodes. Like, we get the swordsman kind of is a little bit featured in some parts. We have this other storyline around the captain and the first mate of the ship that goes down in the harbor. The psychiatrist, I forget her name. Is it Jessica? Something like that. And then, you know, obviously Vanessa and Fisk are centered in a lot of parts of the show. Matt and Karen are centered in parts of the show. In episode 5, minor spoiler, we get to see some older characters come back, like we're getting flashbacks a little bit. And everything just feels like it fits together a lot more nicely. I'm not having to like sit there and be like, wow, this really, like, why did we just do that? You know, like, there's none of that sort of feeling. It was just like, oh, I got to the end of the episode and I was like, man, that was like really fun. I want to watch the next one now. You know, like, there's not of this like, oh, I'm kind of bored of this. Like, what are we doing? You know, there isn't that feeling. So I don't know, Brian, how are you feeling about this season so far? Overall direction, story, characters, whatever, action.
So I actually have kind of like a different opinion about what you just said, Wes.
Okay.
And like, I think you're right that this season compared to last season feels much more like one constant storyline that we're traveling through in the way that you expect from a lot of TV series these days.
Yeah.
In season 1 of Born Again, right? Because of the, you know, the whole creative showrunner change midway through or whatever, like they were specifically trying to do something that felt a little bit more episodic, or have these small arcs. I think it ended up turning into like having these tiny arcs within a longer season. So, you know, every 2 to 3 episodes was kind of like a villain of the week situation or some other type of predicament. And I actually, you know, in some ways in season 2, because that's not there, I miss it a little bit, right? Because I think those things kind of gave the show some focus, and we're also a little bit fun, right? Like they rounded out a world that these characters inhabited, and you know, you got to spend time with White Tiger a little bit. You got to think about, you know, Muse, the serial killer, a little bit more. In this season, we have one main story arc, basically, right? It's, you know, taking down Fisk, and somehow the gun running is going to become an important aspect of it, which is like the very first thing that happens in the first episode. But you know, in this season, all those pieces are long and drawn out, and as you said, they have to, in order for that to maintain itself over the course of an entire season, they have to have all these little ancillary parts of it that we drop in and out of constantly, right? So you mentioned like the swordsman is like a little bit of part of it. You know, the first mate and captain of the ship that sank in the first episode are kind of part of it. You have like all these people that work for the mayor. That's part of it, right? And so we're dropping into all these little things constantly, and to some degree, I'm kind of like, where is Matt Murdock in all of this? Like where is the other central aspect of this story that I could latch onto that keeps it focused and propelling forward, rather than like visiting like a big world where not all the pieces feel that interesting on their own. If you know what I mean. So like that's sort of like a little quibble that I have about this season, and not to say that like it's a bad season. I think like on the whole, though, what we do get is a level of consistent quality that is coming through in every episode, right? Because they have now had the ability to like craft this thing, and so I do think like each episode, you know, is really solid. Like the cinematography on this show is way better.
It's so
than
good.
It needs to be. It's like
so
you
good.
can tell they are being very creative and thoughtful about a lot of things.
It's
you know,
so
like
well
sometimes
shot,
you
bro.
get, you know, a sideways shot of like the ATF or the task force like riding through the crosswalk, and it's like there was no reason for them to like go to those lengths, but it's just cool. It's really good. There's a fight scene in every episode, and I think all the fight scenes are really they're having a good time. They're knocking those out of the park. Bullseye versus Daredevil is awesome. The first fight between Daredevil and the task force, where Bullseye takes out the task force basically by the end of it, is pretty amazing. And then for me, the real standout one is Daredevil, leading in a whole like escapee
That was so
situation
good.
at the detention center. And he's using the billy club like none other. That fight to me was like, it kind of reminded me of the Superman fight that James Gunn did with him and who's the tech guy? I forget, in the
Mr. Terrific?
in the Justice League. Yeah, him and Mr. Terrific, doing that big fight. Or was it maybe it was just Mr. Terrific and somebody else.
Mr. Terrific protected Lois.
Yes, yeah.
That's the barracks camp.
With the balls flying all over the place.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And we're really zoomed in.
I'm terrific.
To Daredevil, and the camera's whipping around, and the billy clubs are whipping around everywhere. Like that was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost on par to, or maybe like some might argue, surpasses the hallway fight scene from way back.
I think the stakes
Daredevil
of this
Netflix,
one. I think the stakes of this one were really good because. Sorry, sidebar, Ryan, if it's okay.
Sidebar.
I love when a show can do good fight choreography where the stakes aren't just who wins the fight. There's other conditions at play. So it's not just, win, beat him, or die. For Matt, it's fight, win, save the hostages, keep them alive, guide them out. Like in a video game, it'd be an annoying-ass escort mission. But we know Matt can beat these dudes' asses. But him having to do that while trying to protect all these people, get them out, lead them to safety. In the middle of the fighting, he's using his, just as me adding on, Brian, to your just the choreography, he's constantly using his super hearing in the fight to just update himself on who's coming, from where. He hears a guy say, going hot. So now Matt immediately, the flip switches of like, they're going to try and murder these people. Get down, make the distraction. I noticed after that, his fighting got way more brutal when he saw, y'all willing to shoot these people? He kind of took the gloves off more because one dude got pierced by like a iron rod, and I was like, like Matt clearly was, in my opinion, was pissed off that they're even going to try and kill these people, and he stepped up to brutality another level with the arm breaks. And to me, Brian, that surpassed the hallway fight, if not only because he's saving and protecting all these people unexpectedly, and to me the stakes was like, oh God, please don't let one of these people get shot. Oh my God, Daredevil, how are you going to protect these people? And he's just getting busy, and I was just, those are really good, like, little things to make fights become more than just guys beating each other up. There's stakes of like, don't just win, protect or escape and all that. And it's a way that they've kept the fights fresh. Also, Brian,
and then he gives Swordsman a good piece of rebar. He's like, fight it out. Help me with this.
Yeah, and Swordsman,
he's like, shoot.
Yeah, and Swordsman starts going to work, and they even gave him a really cool moment of like, let's look at this little cool bit character who actually was like, he's kind of actually really dope and badass in terms of how they used him throughout the trial. Yeah. But Brian, again, doubling down, really just like glazing all your points because you're making good points. The cinema.
That's right. Let me know. Let the record show.
That aspect ratio shift when he was on the boat, when he hears the little thing ticking and they're sinking the boat, and then he has this whole bullet time moment where he hears the watch, and just there's so many dope moments of them really. And the show's always done it, but man, they really stay on top of just, his power is fighting, but the super hearing is really what lets him do some really busted shit. And even using him as like the lie detector for the guy they captured. And I'm liking that Daredevil continues to take his power set, and the show is really using fun, creative ways to use it. And that never gets old. Because again, if they're not creative, the fights start to become samey and him just swinging and fighting and beating up. But they keep each fight interesting of something's happening. There's some other thing at play. And Matt's got to stay on his toes. And they just, like, this show has just been very well, you can tell that the creatives behind it are really like in their bag saying, hey man, what's the coolest way we can do this shit? And the people behind this shit, there's a lot of polish on this show, to be honest. The last thing I'll say, maybe unpopular opinion, I like quote unquote filler episodes. I like an episode to let things breathe, let us see more of the world, let us see the characters when it's not just a high stakes, sweaty plot. especially when it's a really, really intense plot. Like, this shit is really downer and depressing. It doesn't hurt to have a few just like, here's a sidebar story that doesn't advance the plot, but it advances the character. We talked about this with Invincible, right? Like, Invincible going to hell might have been a filler episode, but it was character development, and some people can appreciate that. Like, I liked the St. Patrick's Day bank episode of Daredevil last season, because to me, it felt like a nice pace shift of like, okay, let's step away from all the vigilante shit. Here's just Matt doing a day-to-day, and he gets caught up in this thing. And like, I enjoy those little slice-of-life, self-contained episodes. I know we have mixed feelings.
Dad.
Yeah, I know we have mixed feelings about
that. That was a great episode.
I know we have mixed feelings about how that goes from show to show. But with a show as intense as this one, the best moments have always been when Karen, Foggy, and Matt are just at a bar drinking and just being people. And even in Daredevil Born Again, some of the really good moments aren't the fighting, it's the characters just talking and interacting. But I would love to see that in like a less high stakes environment, where right now I feel like everyone's a bad sentence away from getting killed because everything's so intense. I want a little bit of just like, I don't know, what's Matt do on his day off between all this shit?
Yeah, I think season 2 could benefit from some more character moments, right? Like I actually do think Matt is kind of oddly missing. Like the Daredevil aspect of it and all the things that Daredevil can do have been really well thought out and crafted, and like they're constantly showing us new cool stuff that Daredevil is capable of. But I've missed a little bit of like what's going on with Matt Murdock here.
Yeah.
Like season 1 was very clear, right? You know, he had put away the suit. He's trying to like bury Daredevil, but it keeps seeping out. In this, now he's like full tilt Daredevil. Matt Murdock is not out in the world as a lawyer, but we haven't really been led into his character as much. You know, he's just like too busy making out with Karen, and that's kind of all we see of it. And we could use some more of those moments. And then also you mentioned Foggy, like that is also something I have like really noticed this season, which I didn't think was true in the first season, was that there hasn't been a chaser for all the seriousness of the show, right? Like the tone stays really high and dire like the whole time, and man,
there's nobody who's funny.
I would love some comic relief.
Cherry is like the funniest guy.
Give me a chaser, like somebody like lighten this up a little bit. I guess like we sort of get that with Matthew Lillard, the CIA guy. We sort of get that with Bullseye having a milkshake. But
they're both more sinister.
Like, I feel like we could use it.
No, those are clearly meant to be the chillness is meant to let you know both of those characters, you know, they're being
psychotic.
chill, but there's a sinister beneath that still makes their scenes anxious. Like when Matthew Lillard's there, it's like, okay, we know this guy's CIA and has all this shit, but he's joking, so you know he's scary because Kingpin respects him. You know, with Bullseye, you know, this dude's effing nuts. So even if he's being polite and chill and not killing animals this time, you waiting for the moment. Like, that's why when he's looking at the dog, it's like he's gonna finally
kill someone with that Cherry.
He's gonna finally go. The funniest character we had was the police officer Cherry, who's got his, you know, his slick remarks, and he got whooped by the police and had a heart attack in like episode 1.
That was very anxiety.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
no, not Cherry.
I'm like, come on, man. Like, he's the funniest dude in this show. We need somebody. Like, there's no one who's even like sarcastic. Like, this is the most humorless group of characters. No, I am with you, Brian. Like, it's funny because they kind of, I don't want to say overcorrected, but because I think it's just a shift of the story tone. But season 1 was clearly more about Matt, the story of Matt and his life, and now we've gotten a full inverse. And so from a bigger storytelling perspective, it makes sense that we get Matt heavy season 1, Daredevil heavy season 2, and I'm fine with that in like a big picture narrative. But regardless of how they're balancing Matt and Daredevil and all that, a little bit of levity wouldn't hurt.
I agree about the levity. I think one
it's just intense.
Yeah,
it really is.
Even in real life, it's like a little bit of like, okay, Trump's awful, but at least what he said was like, okay, that's scary, a little bit funny.
But that was absurd.
I'm sorry, there's
no Jesus. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like him saying "Praise be to Allah" at the end of it. I'm like, oh, that's awful. Do something about him. Get him out of office. I smirked a little bit. I was just like, wait, what? It wasn't, but I don't know. This is just
I
so,
like the intensity. I like that it's like for a short season, right, of 8 episodes or whatever it is, that like it's full bore, like we're on a collision course for Kingpin just spiraling out and lashing out and doing whatever he's gonna do, and that the building up of this like impending doom, right, or in this pending clash that is bound to come. I like that, and I think we're getting more of the development around Kingpin's like ways of working, his sort of behind the scenes, the way that he's thinking through these things, his working with Vanessa a little bit. We're getting all of that. So like we're really centering Fisk in the season, I think, which is why we're not getting as much of Matt. I know that like last year they did a lot of like trying to juxtapose the two of them, and they're sort of trying to get to be the other side, right? Like Fisk's nature of being just a complete like power maniac, trying to put on a good face and be someone who takes care of the city, and Matt's also kind of like psychotic, violent nature, trying to put on and repress that side of himself to be, a more civilian type of person. I think they've done less of that this year, which has I think been okay, because it's gonna lead to them letting out their, let the devil out. This is coming, right? Like for both of them.
No, absolutely.
And when you get to episode 4 and 5, or like the end of episode 4 and 5, like more stuff happens that I think is probably going to be a catalyst for the second half of the season. So I mean, I think some of that, I think the intensity is only going to ramp up from here. But I did miss, you're right, that like, or I didn't realize that I was missing some of that humor. So
or just levity.
Very insightful.
I mean, there's some moments of levity,
right?
There's a few moments.
They could have brought more of that in. I think just the characters they right now have on the roster just don't lend themselves to that as much. Besides maybe the swordsman, he could have been like some of that.
Yeah, but he's so busy getting screwed up about the cops that he has no room for humor. The whole time he's just like,
his situation is just bleak.
Yeah, the whole time he's just like a farce. He's just like, yeah, this is bullshit. Hey, you tried. Yeah. We knew what was. The funniest thing he says is that I've been in the cell for 6 months. I need to get off these clothes and burn them. I'm too old for this shit. And that's not even a joke. That's just a statement of facts. Real. I'm like, that man did not tell a single lie. When he said I'm too old for this shit, I was like, you're right. I got locked up for 6 months and I'm in my 50s, 60s. I'm like, you know what, man? I ain't got time for this shit. I'm gonna take my money. He said, look, here's a debit card. Go crazy.
You got an assistant now? Who's buying you clothes right now?
Gave him the credit card. Hey, man, go bankroll. I'll bankroll your operation, but I'm gone for calm.
Do you guys think that the series in this season of episode 2, do you feel like they're pushing Fisk's character enough that you're like, I can see, like, I'm enjoying seeing him on screen, or do you feel like it's more of the same to the point that you're not as interested in seeing him on screen? I find him still magnetic on screen and really enjoy watching him like just like have the rage just be like right underneath the entire time and just be like, is he gonna like cherry, like what does he do to that cop where he just like
Gallo and he broke his head? Yeah, a little low level super strength.
Like
he pulled a mountain.
Yeah, it's
I'm like,
happen.
So he's just the mountain that rides.
That's what I'm waiting for every single moment of like, is he gonna just lose it right now? So I really enjoy seeing him on screen because you're never really sure, or I'm never really sure where he's gonna go and like when the steam is gonna blow off. Like where he punched the guy really hard in that first episode, and just kind of goes berserker. I don't know, Brian. What do you think? Has the show found that interest for you, or are you starting to tire of Kingpin's? Is he too one note for you?
I mean, Kingpin's always going to be interesting. Vincent D'Onofrio is like incredible in this role.
He's so good.
And you're right, like that. It's
like they can't keep getting away with it, but like they do every episode for me.
That simmering tension is like, that's just like, classic storytelling right there. But the more that we talk about the differences between season 1 and season 2, it did make me think like, oh, I don't really know what is going on with Kingpin either. Like I don't know what his character arc is, if there is one. Other than him just like trying to, gather more power, enrich himself. Like I'm not sure that there's anything more than that so far in this first half of the season. What do you think, Savon?
I think that Vincent D'Onofrio does a lot of the heavy lifting for the Kingpin character because he's just such a good actor. His facial expressions, that little bit of just like clearly he's someone who's trying to. He has so many scenes where he's clearly like, oh, you can see he's putting on a mask, or he's clearly poorly hiding his anger. Like the acting and how the character's characterized and written is great. I just think we're in a space now where we've had Kingpin as a central villain for so long that just by virtue of him being around so long, there's just only so much left you can explore with him. We learned about his abusive childhood and why he has those rage triggers in the relationship with his mother, and him being possessive and how that evolved, and being insecure and how that evolved into his relationship with Vanessa, and how he had an inferiority complex kind of. So when people did slight him or disrespect him almost on some Penguin shit, that would cause him to flash out and have these bouts of violence. And like, we got a lot of that in the original Daredevil series, which is fine. I have no problem with that. It was great. Like, we loved him there. And we got even more in when he was the villain of like the Echo show and the Hawkeye show, right? Like, we've gotten to see him in a lot of spaces, and he works for what that is. But I think there's just nothing left to really explore with him that's interesting that we haven't already learned about him. I think we've learned about as much as there is to learn about Kingpin. And that's not a knock on the show, but we've just had so much screen time with him that we've gotten to legitimately, like, Kingpin's probably gotten more screen time and like story time than maybe Matt has, just by virtue of being a crossover villain, right? Like, I named 3 different shows that he's like a central bad guy in. Like, not just, oh, I'm here. He's beefing, fighting with the protagonist. He's fighting Maya. He's fighting Hawkeye and Kate Bishop. He's fighting Matt. Like, so all that to say, I think we've learned all there is to really learn about him. I think this Daredevil series needs to probably end with like kind of like, okay, what's the period ending point of the Kingpin storyline? Because it can't just be Joker style. Like, we're getting into almost Joker territory of like right. The status quo never gets shaken up. Like, we've seen Kingpin get blackmailed. We've seen him go to jail. We've seen him in court. We've seen him corrupt his FBI detail and all that stuff. You know, like, we've seen him get shot in the face and bounce back and run for mayor and win. Like, then we've seen him take over the city. We've seen him use it. You see what I'm getting at, Brian? Like, Rush, you see what I'm saying? But like, my point is that I think we've more or less gotten a really complete Kingpin arc. And what I will say, and like, this is where I kind of want to spoil some of episode 4. I want to speak a little freely.
Go ahead, do it.
Vanessa dies at the end of episode 4, and they were kind of frankly hinting at it, building up to it, because we saw that Vanessa, her main motivation this season has been, she's traumatized by the Bullseye shit. She never did want to be in the public spotlight. She just wants to, she really does love Fisk and just wants to be with him and enjoy all they've built and have a life together. And we had that conversation where Fisk clearly is not about that and is about the,
not ready for that yet.
He wants to continue. So they were already building up that there's clearly a little bit of a divide between what their long-term goals are. We even had Vanessa talking with the governor, and the governor saying, yo, man, your husband is a monster, but I could work with you. And she even says, I can bring the best out of my husband. And it's like, oh, that's ominous. So, like, I do think Vanessa's death does push forward Kingpin's character in a meaningful way. His whole thing, even since the Netflix show, was, I don't want to lose Vanessa. I can't lose Vanessa. It's like, okay, well, now you have lost Vanessa. And, Brian, you can watch yourself to see, but it's like, it's kind of his fault in the slick in a couple different ways. Like, it's
a little bit his fault.
You can tell why he would blame himself, I guess is how I'd put it. That's going to be amazing Kingpin character development. But yeah, I think they need to have an endpoint for the character, because there's only so much you can do. And he's done it great. But like, we've had like 5-6 seasons of shows with him as like the main villain getting away scot-free. He got shot in the face and lived. I think we need to wrap up his storyline here, and he'll go down as one of the best villains Marvel's ever done. But you have to know how to end it before it starts to become, I'll see you next week, Daredevil. Which I don't think will happen. I think the Kingpin story has to end with him being dead or in jail, because it's just how he is and that's how they build it up. But it's just a matter of when. But I can't pretend like I haven't been doing it. He can't keep getting away with this shit since like The Hand, when their ninjas were in Daredevil season 2, 3. I was like, all right, man, someone need to deal with this Kingpin shit. I'm sick of this dude.
That's interesting.
He's been saved like 3 times. People have jumped in front of bullets like twice for him. Like, everybody and their grandma is just like, I'm like, yo, man, just do nothing. Sorry,
I don't know. I guess I just don't feel like I'm tired of him. Like, I want to see where else they can take this character, because he has been so good in like everything that like they haven't missed with him, you know. And so I'm like, I could see him in other things and just be excited to see what Vincent D'Onofrio can do to him or bring to that character. I do feel a little bit that way about Bullseye. I'm kind of like not that interested in Bullseye as a character. his sort of like back and forth nature and chaotic nature. I was like, I don't know. I kind of get it, right? Like I'm ready to look, what there's no other villains we could bring in or no other like chaos agents besides this guy. Like he's just too conveniently like, oh, we hired him for this. And like, oh, he just happened to be like an orphan at the same place. And oh, it's like too many parallels where it's like, I mean, like you're just like trying to shoehorn him in at this point. Like, can we just get a different person? Like it's okay to have a different, like the spray painter kid.
Couldn't disagree more.
And
bro.
this is why I've been like, for this season, I was so excited at the prospect of Jessica Jones coming into the storyline, and I'm actually really annoyed that she has not appeared yet.
Maybe she's just doing a cameo
in these first few episodes. It's like, oh, come on.
There is the question of whether or not we want some new blood or not. Because I know we had mixed feelings about the new blood in season 1. We talked about how we weren't really a fan of people. Well, not me, but I know there was conversation in this chat about not being a fan of Matt's girlfriend and all that. So was that the new characters not being as good? Was that a result of the writing pacing issue? Like, we are getting into that damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like,
yeah, maybe.
No, I mean, I think it's just like a shift in focus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And knowing like a character like Jessica Jones is not going to just be, well, presumably not a side piece, right? In the way that like Matt's new therapist girlfriend might be.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Whereas like you're thinking like, okay, Jessica Jones is a protagonist level character. How does that change the equation of the overall story?
Like Punisher last season? Are we talking like Punisher last season? He's not a lead character, but he's a major enough character where even if he's in there a few episodes, he's like, is that a good analogy?
It really jumpstarts the character arc, like really puts things into focus. Something else that is different from, Kingpin versus Daredevil, and they're just like
I'm enjoying the Kingpin
running the hamster wheel over and over.
See,
I mean, it is good.
Yeah,
like don't get me wrong, it is entertaining. But
I agree. I think it does need.
They just need an ending point for Kingpin storyline. To be clear, Wes,
gotcha.
I'm still enjoying Kingpin on screen. I hate him every time he pops up, and that's an absolute testament to the writing and the acting. And like, that's them cooking. I just don't want them to feel like, oh my God, we have such a good thing that we can't get rid of it. And it's like, no, Kingpin's amazing. Y'all have used him great across all these media. What is y'all ending point for him? Because this shit can't go on forever.
I mean,
and if it ends with him,
I'm not convinced they're going to do that.
Me neither, but I would love for this to end with, okay, he's lost Vanessa, he's going to crash out, go off the deep end. This is the perfect way to set up like the downfall of a very fun, long-running villain that we've had for, keep in mind, 10, 11 years now. It's not like we've had Kingpin for a hot little minute.
Just to make sure we're factually accurate when we release this, I have seen episode 5, and Vanessa is not dead in episode 5.
Oh, no.
I don't want you.
He's punching walls.
I don't want you to be on record as saying she dies in episode 4, and then somebody comes and says, "Well, actually."
I think Savon just hates that you spoiled it for him.
No, it's not.
He did not give the green light for spoilers. I gave the green light that I was okay with.
We'll be honest with you. I'm not even mad that you told me that. I'm just mad that she's alive still. That was a pure. That reaction was not directed at you at all. That was 100% at, oh my God, she's still alive. Yo, somebody shoot these people. Like there was a point where Karen was like, "Yo, Frank's very effective," and Matt got offended because he was just like, "Yo." Karen's like, "I'm not saying we just go out shooting these officers. It's just like,
yeah." But maybe somebody should, like that kind of thing.
I'm just saying, I don't approve of Bullseye tearing up that diner like that, but I would argue he's done more good for the city than Matt did just whooping their ass. I'm like, look. Also, just again, one of the best line reads was really him just saying, "Don't worry, I'm one of the good guys." He said that with his whole chest, and that was such a chef's kiss line. Like, we talked about how his whole thing was abusing animals, right? And how they were clearly building up that he's not abusing animals in that long intro he had. Did y'all catch that?
Mm-mm.
In the old show, Bullseye's thing was that, he's a psychopath and he would like have a whole thing of being cruel to animals. That was like one of his really shitty traits. When we have his episode of him just being all well-adjusted, they were trying to freak us out because he's petting the cat, being nice to it. He notices the lobster at the bar and leaves it alone. The only lobster he throws is a dead lobster. And even when he sees the guy with the dog, he doesn't do anything to it. Like, there's a dog, a lobster, and a cat all in those episodes that you're thinking, oh God, I'm scared for this cat. oh god, I'm scared for this guy and his dog. Oh god,
I was
Loki's
scared
scared for
for
this
the dog.
Okay,
Yeah.
Loki's scared for this lobster. And even the lobster, it's a dead lobster that he throws, not the living one that was crawling around on the floor. But like, I guess I'm pointing it out just to say there's so many little moments of like they were being very intentional and creative, and just even little moments like that of just, it's just a very well crafted show. Like you can tell that they really put like an honest effort into this, because you don't have to do shit like that. And the scene would have still been fire if they didn't, but they did. And even for people who don't remember his animal cruelty shit, it's a nice little just little moments like that of like, if you catch it, it's great. If you don't, it's fine. But they're clearly putting their ankles in it, and that's always a good sign for any show that's like,
Their ankles in
you never heard that term? Put your ankles in it?
No.
You know, put your,
Whoa.
What does that mean?
Does that mean like hold your ankles?
Just to put forth your best effort.
Okay. Put your ankles in it. I
Put
like
your
that.
ankles in it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
like
you gotta,
just
you gotta bend the knees, put the ankles in it, or maybe it's like stomping with like your whole feet, like when you're trying to mash something down. You know, like
yeah. You ever heard the term put your
down?
Oh, you never heard the term
go ankles deep.
Oh, you ever heard the term put your foot in it? You ever heard that?
No.
Dang, y'all
Into somebody's ass?
No, just like put your foot in it is just like a term for just like, you know, oh man, I made this apple pie and I put my foot in it. Not literally, but like, you know, you put maximum.
No, add that to the list of Savanisms, man.
I love that.
Oh my god,
you always got something.
Put your ankles in it,
put your ankles in
it. I've heard elbow grease. You know, elbow grease, or put your back into it. Right? People say that. So I like
that. Means something else.
I'm pretty sure the put your foot in it thing is like, I'm pretty sure that might be a black thing. But like,
nice. All right.
Point is,
we learn more every day. We love this.
But yeah, man, Daredevil, this show's fire, man.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm enjoying this one, and I'm enjoying this one a lot more than I'm enjoying that I enjoyed season 1. I do think there's like small things that like, yeah, maybe you can nitpick it, but I don't feel the need to nitpick this show. I actually really enjoy how every episode is going. I think the structure of them and ending, like how they've all ended, you know, they all end in a good place where it's like, oh yeah, I want to watch the next one now, but not so much where I'm like, you're just fucking with me. You know, like it's really, I feel like the show has done a good job of putting forth like a real episodic TV show. And I feel like we lament a little bit the 8 episode seasons because you just don't get as much as you get from like when shows used to be 22 episodes a year. And then I saw on social media and they were like, yeah, the reason you don't get that anymore is because of the streaming situation. It's like streaming services want people to sign up. That's how they make money. Making more episodes of one season doesn't get more people to sign up. So you just get these short seasons because a new show is actually what gets people to sign up. And so whenever they can make a new show, that's what they do rather than like extending the same show for multiple seasons, which like makes sense.
F that. Bring back filler.
It sucks.
I missed the Fire Island Players episodes. I want my characters to have an episode. I want the Dragon Ball Z filler episode where Goku and Piccolo learn how to drive. Because Chi-Chi said, Goku, you ain't got your license. You have a family. You need to know how to drive. But Chi-Chi, I can fly. You need your license. Piccolo, you're going with them. And it's them driving a car, and it's a shit show. And it's the funniest thing ever because it's them just being dudes having a blast, not blowing shit up. And it's marvelous.
That reminds me of like comic books where they have like the little side story at the very end where suddenly all the characters are drawn in cartoony big head mode.
Yeah, the little chibi, little silly thing at the end.
Doing something silly.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, let's get that.
Let's want the levity.
Let's get Kingpin playing basketball.
I want an episode where Matt can't find his uniform, or he got to get laundry. He's trying to get dry cleaning done for his suit, so he's running all over New York trying to discreetly get his shit washed, and then his suit gets shrunk, and then he got to go on a job, and something. I don't know. I'm being silly, but you know what I mean. I don't know, man.
I like 8 to 10 episode seasons because they can be really tight and tell one story, and I think it allows. It's like a quantity versus quality thing. I think a lot of times when you have these shorter episodes, the showrunners can just really like go all out on those 10 episodes, right? The writers can do their thing. When you got 22, of course, like not all of them are going to be good. In fact, quite a handful of them are not because they're doing it so quickly, right? They're basically trying to write one episode a week, maybe every 2 weeks, something like that. And you get, I think the quality is just going to drop. Like it just naturally has to, right? You're not getting to really like smooth it out, sharpen it, revise it again, get somebody else eyes on it, revise it again, right? You just don't have that luxury when you got 22 episodes. So, I mean, I don't necessarily want to go back to that idea, but I think it could be more. We could have more episodes per show, which would be nice. Give us 12, give us 13, something like that. That would be That'd be nice.
Yeah, defending 8-episode seasons is wild behavior, Wes. I
think a lot of them could be
you.
longer. No, yeah, I think a lot of them could be longer.
I mean, we talk about all the time about how, oh man, the show has 8 episodes, so they have to hit these very specific. To me, it feels like the opposite problem of you say more episodes means that the quality gets stretched out. To me, they have to pack everything in so quickly that if sometimes shows feel like it's a breakneck pace when it doesn't need to be. Like 8 episodes means to your point, like we just 100%. Talked about 8 episodes. Like even with this Daredevil show, 8 episodes. There's no room to have like we talked about it with Invincible. Like imagine if Invincible had 3 more episodes this season, Brian. 4 more episodes. The Hell episode would feel less like oh man, we only get so many episodes, so you don't want. Like I think it's the problem is that, and Wes, some of this is just I know you have your preference of you prefer more straightforward stories, but like I don't think that's always. I don't know. I just trying to streamline into 8 episodes ends up being you're trying to cram too much in, and we always say, oh, there's no time. We didn't get to really see what's up. We know that episode 3 is going to be the second to last episode is going to be the person finally powers up. And then it's like, it starts to feel a bit formulaic because you have less room to work with. If the show calls for it, cool. But like standardizing it to me is just greedy corpos trying to figure out how they can do less and make more money by giving us less. Some shows
that's what I'm saying, right? Like they're doing these shorter seasons because, right, you want to get more subscribers, so you need new shows, and so you can't invest, as much in every single show.
But I ain't worried about their business. I ain't worried about y'all business. That's just y'all trying to make money. I'm talking about just make a good show.
No, I'm not defending that. I'm saying I'm lamenting it that like we're in this position a little bit because of that, right? Like I think that's a valid criticism of like why we're in this place and. Like, can we get 12 episode seasons? Right, I think that would be awesome for things. I don't, but I want to.
Well, season 1 of Born Again was like 18 episodes.
Right? Season 1 of Born Again, or no? I was going to ask the first season of Daredevil on Netflix. Wait, Born Again was not 18 episodes.
Born Again season 1 was. Let's see.
He's going to be so wrong on this one.
I thought it was less than 10.
It was definitely more than 8.
Really?
Right?
No.
But I don't necessarily want to have 22 episodes of Daredevil. That's what I'm saying. Like in one season.
I just think you do what it calls for.
Exactly. Yes. I'm for that. I'm for that.
They had planned it to be an 18 episode first season and they split it up. So season 1 was 9 episodes, and then season 2 is 8.
So here's the real question.
They had planned it to be 18.
Yeah. So here's the real question I got for y'all.
18 would have been awesome.
How did y'all feel about the length of the Daredevil Netflix TV shows, which were before we started going into 8-episode model? Those actually were closer to...
Those were like 15?
15. Right? In the teens, at least, closer to maybe 20. But like, that's maybe more of what I'm talking about of like episode
length. Look it up, Brian. I like that.
And for certain, there was definitely, to be clear, I remember even back then, people talked about, some episodes felt like filler and
13.
some whatever, but like...
Oh, okay. Not that many.
But still, I mean, 13 is almost, that's a lot more than 8. That's a lot more TV.
Yeah. No, I like
more
that.
Than 50%.
Bring back 12 to 15 episode seasons. That's what I'm in favor of. Yeah. Whatever you think you need between 12 and 15, pick one of those.
Yeah. Or the verdict is just, I don't know, just don't have it no, have the length aside for what makes sense for the story. If it's a long story, make it a long show. I know obviously the business part gets in the way of that, but like, I'm just mad when they just like, hey man, you got 8 episodes, figure out the rest from there. I'm
6.
like, well, damn, bitch.
We've had some 6-episode shows in the past. Like, what the hell?
But if that's a mini, but if that's like a mini series, I'm fine with that. Don't give me a full on series and be like, all right, 5 episodes. See y'all next season, bitch. What?
All right, let's keep it moving. I think we've said our piece. Streaming, you guys have fucked it up for us, and now you're charging us more every single
back
month.
Filler, baby.
Price raises. Bring back filler. I do not support this idea of bring back filler.
Filler. Put some cheese on that.
All right. Anything else you want to add about this show? Are there any characters that you've been enjoying besides the main ones we've talked about?
Are there any others?
I love the British guy.
Which one?
This British guy.
Buck
is crazy, ominous, and like really skilled. I have no idea what his backstory is.
Me neither, bro. I'm like, what is your angle, bro?
But he's so cool. Like, and any scene with him, I think is a standout scene for the most part, right? Like him having that conversation with the deputy mayor was cool. Like eating the hot dog, like him taking out the 2 goons of the CIA guy.
They needed to do that.
It's crazy.
Double tap.
Him with the fake
having
hands
the conversation
up.
with a therapist. Oh yeah, the fake hands up, right? Which was a distraction. Him having that conversation with a therapist and like talking about the King's Court and what everybody's role is. Is just like really interesting and fun. What a character. Who is this guy? I'm looking forward to when he faces off with Daredevil. I think that would be really great. And be like the kind of new juice that we want to see, right? We've seen
he gets a
Daredevil
little bit
Kingpin,
of attention.
we've seen Daredevil Bullseye. Let's see Daredevil Buck. I don't even know who Buck is.
It's a dude, badass
but he's
dude.
given 100.
We find out a tiny bit about him in episode 5.
Okay, cool.
He gets a little more screen time.
Yeah, we know he's a private badass. So I'm just like, what's your angle? Where do you fit in this? Like, Fisk just put you on payroll and you're just a badass gangster dude who's just like, all right, man, I got you.
He's just down for it.
He's just like in it for the bread. I'm like, okay, I mean, cool. Like, I guess he's the most honest character in the show. Like, I don't believe in none of this. I'm just here for the check. I'm like, you know what, man? I don't know, but do you? That was something else with this show. That was.
I feel like Karen's gotten sidelined again.
Yeah, Karen is definitely just like. She's the kissable mannequin in this show.
She just has to stay at home base waiting for things to happen. I guess that's not true. She does some of her stuff with
her
terrible
dressing
wig.
up as Kim Possible.
I don't agree. She's doing a lot of the media stuff in terms of sharing stuff and getting things to people and all like getting the propaganda stuff out. She was the one who kidnapped that guy and straight up like kidnapped a man and they whooped his ass and tortured him to get information out of him. Karen's the one who I think is building up to really going off the deep end in terms of being okay with outright murder. Like you can clearly see her and Matt having a moral schism, which I'm actually really appreciating of like, Karen's kind of going the more Frank Castle
a moral
route.
Schism.
Yeah, because Karen's going the more Frank Castle route. Like I think Karen's not going to have as much to do because she's just not out here fighting, but I think she's done a pretty solid job in terms of her character doing the espionage, sneaking around. She ended up like she's had meaningful contact with a lot of. I feel like Karen's been doing a lot of shit. Like she kidnapped the guy. She went to Kirsten's office. She went to Kirsten's office when she was in disguise to help she does a lot of push plot forward stuff and getting information out, but she's not a fighter. So like she's not going to be the star of the action scenes. But I think all the other scenes that aren't action but push the plot forward, I feel like Karen's doing a lot. But I need her to pop some people.
She does all those things that you mentioned without like feeling really present in those scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
No, I don't know if I agree. I like Karen.
There's like nothing stand out about any of it. It's just like, oh, there's that character again.
See, I'm enjoying Karen.
None of her scenes have tension. None of her scenes have tension or like stakes to them.
She's
right?
picking up some books in the law office.
Yeah. She's going to meet with Kirsten,
and that's the crime. And again, that's the crime drama part of the show. Like that's the drama part.
No tension.
I think there's tension. The tension is, hey man, what we're gonna do to not have Fisk f over these people, and will these documents and stuff actually help with fighting against the system? Like that's the tension. Granted, they lost.
I think they
the other thing I want to call out is BB Urich's alternate BB report. Right? Like,
Kingpin parody.
Love it.
The Kingpin parody videos are actually like pretty interesting and cool. They're kind of like a knockoff of stuff they used to do in Mr. Robot. But it's just like another one of those details that the show has like gone all in on, and it's a detail that they don't really need necessarily. Like it doesn't have to seem as funny and interesting and kind of bonkers as it is. But they're it's a credit to the people that are making this show and like putting some effort into these things, and just like adding more value to the show in places that you wouldn't necessarily expect.
I wish that we didn't know who it was yet. I wish that
it was a weird reveal.
I wish that was a little bit later.
I thought we knew it was her from the beginning.
I can't remember.
I feel like
was it a thing that we knew in season 1?
I was under the impression that we all knew that was the case in season 1 because they showed her taking off. I was like, okay, but we thought we knew this already. Like I thought she was, because the whole thing was that she'd been making, because the whole point I understood that she was been making those film things from the beginning because she was doing like a, false flag. Hey, I pretend I'm with y'all, but actually, I'm saying mine. And when she did the thing where she got the information off your boy's computer after the party, right? She hacked and got the information off that she used to make it. Yeah, but I'm saying is that this whole time, I thought we all knew that she was doing that stuff because she was secretly investigating Fisk because that's who killed her uncle. Like, as soon as we learned her name, as soon as we learned that she was a Yurk, it's
yeah, that we knew. But like that she was behind the
I thought we knew that because I don't know if I just pieced that together. I thought in season 1, I was like, oh yeah, that's clearly
maybe you're a better
girl.
Detective than we are.
But I thought maybe there was a line or something.
Like, I mean, I figured it was her, but like the reveal of it felt a little.
See,
I didn't know for sure.
To me, the reveal felt like, to me, it was like, why are they telling? To me, it was like, oh, I thought we knew this already. I was like,
you're like, this is so obvious. And for me, I was like,
I was genuinely like, why did I thought we knew this was her? Is this just a kid? Honestly, in the back of my head, I was like, is this just confirmed for people who weren't sure? Like, is this just to definitely punching home people who weren't paying attention?
Yeah.
I was just like, because I'm like, we know this. What do we even need this for?
I don't know. I did not know.
Well, I'm glad it was
maybe
helpful.
I missed it. I might have missed it in that first episode, like where she was on his computer and what he was looking at. I don't think I caught like what she was looking at on the computer.
I thought they had lines for her all throughout the even previous season of like, oh, cool, she's clearly out to get revenge, and this is how she's trying to put out hit pieces on Kingpin because the info was shit that like, oh, only she has privy to it because that's why she's messing with old boy so that she can use her.
I was just sitting there being like, I wonder how this jokester knows about these things.
Well, you know what? The writers clearly realized we need to emphasize that point. So shout out to them because everybody doesn't see the same shit. So,
but I wish they would have not told us yet. I think they should tell us later. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much of a catalyst it is. Maybe it was just a catalyst for like Fisk being annoyed about leaks, and if that's just the case, then you tell us that earlier. But I feel like it could like spur other things, right? Like people could start to get disenfranchised with or disillusioned with Fisk through these like things, right? And it could build pressure on Fisk to do something, that he's doesn't want to do or something like that, right? You can use that as leverage later.
Well, the conflict is that she's using her friend to get that inside information, which he called her out on, and like now it's leading to a tension between them. And then if shit pops off with Kingpin, who's gonna get hurt? But like, that is a tension. It's a matter of like, all right, is this gonna blow up in BB's face? Like Karen even told her, hey, don't die doing this work. Will she die? I hope not, but I guess we got 3 more episodes to see.
She might.
If they kill another year,
friends, should we wrap it up there?
And then she'll come back the next episode.
Should we wrap it up there?
Yeah,
I think we said we want to see.
Yeah,
I'm excited for the second. I'm excited for the second half of the season. We'll see where they
give us some Luke Cage. Damn it, bring back Luke Cage.
Give us the Defenders.
Minus Iron Fist.
Are they supposed to? Are they supposed to show up in the show?
No.
Jessica Jones at least.
Just Jessica Jones. Okay.
But it's like
well,
Luke Cage
we'll see what she does.
He out here.
I don't know. Maybe you're right though. With like only 4 or 5 episodes to go, or 3 or 4 episodes to go.
It might
maybe
just be a cameo.
Maybe she's just making a cameo. It's kind of too late to bring her in as a major character.
We don't know that. Maybe not.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. All right, friends. Well, that'll do it for us. Your homework is to watch Maul, Shadow Lord, The Boys. What else is coming out? What else is out?
Invincible.
Finish Invincible. There's lots of TV on right now. Savon was complaining earlier that we're just in such a plethora.
I didn't complain.
I
just said there's a lot of shit.
I
just said there's a lot of good TV out.
Plus, we got to watch, the playoffs.
What about Company Retreat?
Company Retreat.
What's Company Retreat? Is that a show or is that like a thing?
It's a show.
I'm like,
or you could go. You could go.
I'm definitely not going on a Company Retreat. So I don't know why we talking about. It's like it's a show. What is this shit? Duly noted.
You're retreating from the company.
We're 4 or 5 weeks away from Mandalorian and Grogu, which should be an event. I don't know if it's gonna be good, but it should be an event. All right, friends, we're out of here. See you later. Bye. Go Lakers.
Yeah, they're gonna go home.